You know why I really like the person you're about to meet? Because she hates being measured. Sometimes people like to give compliments by comparing you with men. And here's somebody who said to me, I'm going to show you the video in a moment, but maybe you can guess who it is. I'm sick of being called the Sachin Tendulkar of women's cricket. Let's take a look at this video. Let's take a look at the video first. Mithali on stage. Anyone has any ideas why we have so many doors here? Opening doors. This is our metaphor for this conference. We're here to open doors for ourselves, doors that have been shut in our face, and we're here to open doors for each other. So hashtag We The Women, hashtag opening doors. Keep your comments coming on Twitter and all social media platforms today. And let's have walk through that open door, Mithali Raj, the captain of the cricket team. It's fantastic to see you. And I was just telling everyone that the reason that I love Mithali so much is from the day, apart from her cricket, is when she said, stop calling me the Tendulkar of
Lady Sachin.
You're tired of being the Lady Sachin.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm tired, but I would like to be known as Mithali Raj of the women cricket.
And not Sachin Tendulkar of women's cricket.
Yes.
And are you absolutely sick to death of being called that?
Well, I think as a cricketer, everybody would love that compliment. Because what is achieved, everybody look up to him, and nobody yet have gone anywhere close to it. But when I started playing cricket, I never wanted to be known as Lady Sachin, and I didn't want to ape him. But I wanted to create my own identity in the sport. And I would like people to know me as Mithali Raj.
And I think you have done that. Come, Mithali, have a seat. And also, it is my honor to welcome one of my seniors from the media profession, somebody who has also broken many barriers. There are very few women still who cover sports. And we encourage and laud people who did this well before this glass ceiling was broken. Sharda Ogra, one of the best respected names in sports journalism. Sharda Ogra, may I please welcome you.
Hi, good morning. Hope all of you can hear me right at the back. It's great to be here. Thanks a ton to Barkha. I don't think any of us can handle trolls like she can. So it's great to be here and sitting with Mithali. And I was told before we got here that, don't think this is a cricket conversation. Stop talking about Acha, your batting, your cover drive, your whatever. This is basically about Mithali being Mithali, and everything else that's part of her life, which is her cricket, which is who she is, the kind of personality she is. And I have a lot of interesting stories to tell you about her. Her life for the last, say, maybe 1.5 years has been, or a year, just about a year, just a year. We've got to hear about women's cricket and women's cricket's voices and so on. But her life is much more than that, in the sense of who she is as a public person, as an athlete, like very few other in the country. So I'll just start with, so we are sitting here with someone who is an icon in her sport. More runs than anyone else. More runs across formats than anyone else, world records. And guess what happens when any of you go to Google after now and do a search for Mithali Raj? The options that you get are Mithali Raj, husband, Mithali Raj, age, then Mithali Raj, Instagram, and then Mithali Raj, profile. So this is exactly how a lot of people view women in public space. Who are you with reference to somebody else, not who are you with reference to what your profile is as such. So this conversation I'm going to have with you, Mithali, is about what was it like growing up with cricket? You grew up with cricket. Essentially, as a teenager, you made your debut when you were 16. You grew up in a women's dressing room. You became captain. And we hear, all of us who cover sports, we hear stories about the male dressing room, and you hear guys doing press conferences, and they say, we do this for one another, the team is great, and all of us know the other stuff that's happening behind, actually. All teams say that there's great team spirit. There's only great team spirit when you win. When you lose, there's chaos. So just tell us, Mithali, what has it been like growing up with cricket? Mithali said before at one point that she didn't watch much cricket. She just played it. She was a doer, not a watcher. So tell us about that experience coming through growing up in cricket from your teenage to now.
Well, for me, when I started playing cricket in '92, I was in the 5th standard, and many people asked me, like, how did you start playing cricket? Usually that's the first question being asked. If you honestly ask me, I never wanted to be a sports person. I never wanted to get into cricket. I always wanted to be someone who wanted to pursue dance, Bharatanatyam, and that is something I started much before cricket happened to me. And yes, as growing up, I've never got to watch the matches because my parents both were working. So me and my brother were never had the privilege of watching television because our days, the whole day was occupied by school, playing cricket, and even learning dance. So I never had time to think about anything else in my life. I was irregular to school too because of my hobbies and my extracurricular activities that, I was not very regular in school. So I never had, per se, an idol that I could follow growing up. But when I started dance, I've learned dance under Ananda Shankar Jayant. And she's been my idol when I was growing up because I wanted to be somebody like her, very independent, someone in those days, she without a father. She just had a mother and 2 other siblings. So there were 3 sisters, and she was running this academy, dance classes in my school, and she's done her IAS on her own. And she pretty much ran the entire academy alone. And it proved, and she was such a strong person. She inculcated the discipline in her students. She's very strict when it comes to coming on time. So all these things really helped me as a young kid to look up to her. As a cricketer, I've never looked up to anybody else, but as a young girl who wanted to be someone like her, she's the one I wanted to be like. And as you mentioned, yes, I pretty much grew up playing for India, made my debut at a very young age, at 16 years. I didn't know how to fold my own clothes. When I toured abroad, I didn't know how to use the cutlery. I pretty much learned all of those things from my seniors. So as a 16-year-old girl, it was very difficult to be in a team with seniors who were probably double your age. They were 28, 29-year-old. And I always found myself, pretty alone because a 16-year-old, either I have to reach up to their mental state of mind to understand what they're talking, because pretty much there's gossip around when there are a bunch of girls together, or, you're to yourself. And there were times when I used to get up early in the morning and just stare at the ceiling, wondering, where am I, what am I doing? Because I never had friends. All were my seniors. I had to grow up very soon. And coming from 16 years into a phase where I had players of my own age, that's the best phase probably because I had friends in the team. I could relate to them. I could have my own fun times off the field. And to the time today where I have all the youngsters, and I feel the difference now because I cannot really connect to them. Probably they cannot connect to what I'm trying to say other than the sport. So it's different stages of my career as a captain, as a senior player, as a youngster. But one thing I would say that, over a period of time I've realized you cannot have friends in a profession. I have my best friend and she's retired, but I think a lot of people say that, as you mentioned, team spirit and everything, yes, but the very fact it remains is when you're competing, friends, everything goes out of the window. You know, when you're a fierce competitor, you just want to be the best. And there will be time when, you know, a lot of your emotions, you're fighting with a lot of your own demons, your competition outside, you're trying to keep up to the current standards of the team. So you don't have, I personally feel I don't have time for friendship. And my mother made it very clear and strict in the initial stages of my career that I'm not sending you there to make friends. You're there to compete, you're there to be the best. And I've tried to maintain that all through, though I have developed friends during my playing days, early days, and I still have them in my life. But it is difficult to develop friendship when you're in that competitive phase.
What about now that you're famous, everybody will want to be your friend. People will be, you know, now that you're everywhere on the cover of magazines. What about now? How good are you at judging people? What has cricket taught you and your career taught you about that?
Well, they do say that people change. There were times when people were opposed to me pursuing sport, being a cricketer, to today where they, you know, happily introduce me as a cousin, as a friend, as a, you know, whatnot. And you know, you just have that smirk, a smile that okay, times change. You know, everybody gets a chance under the lights. And I'm not someone who judges people at the drop of the hat. I take time because I believe everybody come from different zones. There are time people say that the first impression is the best impression. I don't agree with that because there are a lot of times when I've been in a crappy mood to meet somebody for the first time, and if that person judges me on that, then it is a sad thing. So people change. There are different scenarios. You don't judge people, you know, at an instant. I take time, but when I open up, then I have those people in my life for long. And, you know, as a celebrity, you are always cocooned. You try to protect yourself. You don't want to share a lot of personal things because you feel people are going to have different perspective about it and stuff like that. But I believe that, you know, if I want to share and if I want to live a life in a certain way, I should not be bothered about what people think. This is how it is. I am vulnerable. I am still, the people say that, you know, one cannot feel jealousy or pride or negativity. I do feel, because I'm a human. These are the emotions. This is a part of me being a human, me being a person. When you're competing, there are times when I felt like, okay, why am I not scoring runs? How is she able to score? There are times when you feel very low, very vulnerable, and there is no harm in sharing it. There is no harm in shedding a tear and feel sad for yourself, but you have to move on, because that is what sport has taught me, that it's a moment. It's a moment, but you have to move on from that.
Mithali is not known, like she's saying, she's very careful about how she deals with people, deals with sort of the public and the outside world. I don't know what the timing is. Is it October? Is it November? Her book is going to be out. It's called Unguarded. Penguin, before I get the name of the publisher wrong. And that will tell stories about her life that we haven't heard about. And she's showing a bit of herself to all of you here. At one point, you know, I remember she asked Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudeva a question. And I don't think he gave her quite the right answer. But basically her question was, how do you deal with negativity? How do you handle negativity in your life? And I think a lot of women who are striving to be anything that they want to be, who want to achieve something, who want to be someone else, whether it's the girl in the audience who wanted to be part of the troopers is what I could hear. Maybe it's wrong. How do you tackle negativity? That was the question that she asked him. What have you learned about negativity, not including what the great Swamiji told you?
Well, I think it is, it's there in everything. Like, you know, people judge you, and when you're scoring 100 also, there are some people who say the innings wasn't very good. Because that's
us. That's us. That's the journalists who do that. Completely scratchy innings. took a long time to get started, was
Yeah.
susceptible to whatever, bouncer or spinner or whatever. That's us.
I faced that a lot of times where I've been given a role and I've been told by the management or the team depends on me playing a specific role. But for someone who's an outsider, the person feels that I've not justified in the playing the way I've did for that innings. But I do feel sad when people question the commitment. That,
Or
you
the
know,
intention,
yeah,
or
the
read your
intentions,
mind.
Yeah. So, then I share that with my dad, with my friend, and tell her, like, I feel sad even in spite of doing what the team wants me to do, but people see it in a different way. So what they tell me is that, you are representing your country, you're representing a bunch of players, and they look up to you. What the world sees doesn't matter because you are taking them onto the field. And what they matter is what the team matters. And even though there was this innings, I would like to say that, when I scored a half century against Australia, it was pretty slow-paced innings. I do realize myself as
Which
a player
one was
in the
that?
World
Cup, yeah.
And but people were very, they were in a hurry to judge because they didn't understand the factors behind whether the wicket was slow or whether the team was in a good pace of mind because we lost a match before that. So these things never mattered to people before they actually throw up their judgment. But for me, that was more important. And maybe that innings has helped the other players to gain confidence. And that is what I take pride in. So, when you're in your self-doubt, when you have negativities, I believe you need to get back to the very thing deep inside you which has allowed you to get forward in the first place, to understand, to go back to the basics is what they say. So here I go back to my mentor, I go back to my dad, because they are the people who've seen me grow, who know who really I am and what emotions that I feel when I'm not doing well or when I'm doing well and when I'm doubting myself. And they are the people who have the answers to make me realize again why I am there.
Tell us something more about the book, what you've said in it. Is there stuff that's still unsaid?
I would say there's a lot of gossip. Because there are so many things that we don't really share or put forward in the interviews or never asked about.
We try.
So, so I think there are a lot of things about my journey as a cricketer, about how a women cricketer has struggled way back in 90s to what it is today. It's a journey of women's cricket, about a woman cricketer, about perception about the society, how difficult it was for a young girl to take up sport. A lot of women cricketers probably relate to half of my journey.
There was also a point in your career when you wanted to give up. Sort of 5 years ago, you wanted to stop playing. And when you look back at that instant and think, oh my God, what a mistake that would have been. Can you just tell us something about that particular time that happened? She had, since 2005, she had what is a knee injury, yes. Which is a ligament tear. Now, fractures fix easily. Ligament tears are horrendous.
Well, yes, I had this ligament tear just before the 2005 World Cup.
In the knee?
In the knee, yes. And I went on to play that World Cup with the injury. And back then, we were not under BCCI banner, so we were not access to the physios or the trainers and how to recover from an injury or how to play with the injury into a main tournament. So I didn't have these basic knowledge about injuries, and I continued to play till 2009 World Cup.
How did you manage with an ACL injury, with a ligament tear?
I should admit,
it?
It was very, very difficult because it drained me out emotionally more than physically. Physical pain is different, but when you're dealing with an injury, every day in the morning you get up with pain. When you walk, when you stride, when you do the normal chores, also you feel that pinch in your knee, the prick in the knee, and you know that how long will you go or how much strength you have within you to push yourself onto the field, representing your country and giving your 100%, knowing the fact that you're having an injury.
I just want to ask, is there anyone here over 40 in this audience? Put your hand up. Thank you for being here. Our age group. Knee injuries, my age group, not hers, of course. Knee injuries come to all of us, and so we realize, okay, we're getting out, it's tough getting up. Just imagine that when it comes to athletes, they're sort of made of different material. they deal with that, and then they're running, they're diving, they're stretching, they're jumping. All those under 40, this is going to happen to you. You know, don't think it's forever. You're not going to be young forever. Your knees are going to give in. Okay. Just going back to the fact that you said you wanted to quit, and you said, how long can I go on? What was it that made you? Because I think there will be a lot of women and girls in the audience who will feel that giving up is just easier to do and just let me do the regular thing. What made you want to go on?
Well, I don't know. I just felt that, after the during the 2009 World Cup, that's the first time the matches were televised, broadcasted, and the matches of India were televised. And the kind of feedback we got from people, they were so positive and encouraging. And you had the first time Star Sports covering, the greats of the men cricketer like Wasim Akram, and everybody were commentating on your game. And when people like them who appreciate your game, you feel very nice, you feel recognized, you feel happy about the hard work that you've put in all these years. So I thought, okay, now that since it's being televised, now things are started to move in women's cricket, why not continue for another 2 years? So from 2009, I continued for another 2 years. Then I said, okay, there's the World Cup in 2013, let me give it a try. And I played the 2013 World Cup. Wasn't very great for India because it was hosted in India, and we didn't even qualify for the semis. So I was like, okay, the job is not done. Let me play for another 2 years. So that's how I continued, and I've played 2017 World Cup. So.
Which is, I think for many, it's the place for the first time where they recognize what the women cricketers do. I don't think, Mithali talked about in the past that women's cricket was away from the BCCI, and because she's a current player, I can't ask her about it in public. But from the time that the BCCI took on women's cricket till 2016, when they signed their first contract, it was about 10 years in the wilderness. The sponsors would not give them their shirts, or they would get the men's shirts to wear. Just dhoke, dhake, laundry say, they got the men's team ka shirts to wear. How did the male cricketers deal with with the women's cricketers? What was that kind of equation like? If you can just explain it. They are your peers, they are your fellow professionals. What was that equation like?
Well, when we came under BCCI, it was new for them as well as for us, because until then we've never got to interact with the male cricketers, and wherever we see them, we even we are starstruck. Okay, there's Sachin Tendulkar, oh, Rahul Dravid, and and stuff like any common people, because they were unreachable. And suddenly you're under BCCI, you meet these biggies of BCCI, and you meet these players in the National Cricket Academy, and it takes a while for you to sink in that, okay, you are on par with them. You're also access to those facilities that they are access to. And slowly we started to interact with them. Initially a little hesitant to understand how they would feel, how they would come and talk to a women cricketer. But slowly on, I think things started to sort out. And I should admit for a fact that there was a time when I was training in National Cricket Academy. I was batting, and all the while I've never realized that Rahul Dravid was watching me from behind, watching my batting. And
it's the cover drive. Yeah.
And when I finished, and when I turned around, and I was like, okay, he was watching me. So I was quite conscious, and then he came up to me and he gave me a few tips about batting, and I started to interact to him about my game. So I think that's where the ice was broken, because unless he would have come forward, I wouldn't understand, what if I go and he takes, he's a little negative about women's cricket or something. But later on, I think as years passed by, things have started to improve. We started to interact more often, like even going before the World Cup. During the World Cup, Sachin was constantly in touch to understand and help the team to cope with the pressures of the World Cup, because he's been in those times, and he's the best person one can reach up to. And now when you see they're tweeting and they're standing up and acknowledging the women's team, it feels nice, because coming from them, a lot of people in India look up to them. They are treated literally like God. And when they comment on women's cricket, people take it like a word. So I think I'm only happy that, you know, they are very positive, so that we have a lot of people now who come forward to watch women's cricket after the 2019 World Cup, like how it was the 1983 World Cup for men. Until then, nobody watched men's cricket. It's a journey.
cricket, yeah.
So 2017 has been the reckoning moment for women's cricket. From now on, there are men cricketers who watch us play, who have a feedback to give.
Who will criticize you if they need, or who will do the stories around it. The journalists, I'm
Could
saying
be,
at least,
yeah. There are men cricketers who probably are not very, keen to see women's cricket rise. But again, it's both ways, I guess.
I have a very interesting story to tell. At some point, these arguments went on about, I really don't want to watch women's cricket. I wanted to tell them, you're not doing anybody a favor. Just watch the damn. You don't have to watch it. Other people will watch it. Anyone who wants to watch women's cricket will watch it. If you can put it out on television in the way that it deserves to be put out, you should watch it. I'm just looking at the clock here, which is giving me a bit of panic. Because I could go on chatting with Mithali, and her cover drive will come into the equation, and biomechanics and all the rest of it.
I should admit, this is the first woman who's actually spoken about a cover drive.
I'm too old. Just one more question. The most interesting part about Mithali as a public figure, as a personality from sport, is that she is able to talk about things that are quite in Twitter, that are quite unusual for sportsmen, particularly cricketers, to go to. I'll just read out her tweet that came on Independence Day, wishing India freedom from hunger, poverty, discrimination, sexism, abuse, and greed. We had 72 years to build ourselves in the this was on Gandhiji's Jayanti. We had 72 years to build ourselves in the manner we want to be defined. Are we close? ? Lives were lost so we could breathe free. Let us honor those sacrifices. I don't think, seriously, applause. I can't think of, barring a couple of football players from Kerala who are very outspoken, I don't think there are athletes in India, for whatever the reasons may be, who are able to speak about anything other than their little universe. So tell us about that, Mithali, even though you have 30 seconds, but you don't. You're Mithali Raj, you can talk for as long as you want.
I have to play like a T20, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, T20. Yeah, we might just go over a minute or something. Just this part of who you see yourself in the public sphere as an Indian woman living in the times that we're living in.
See, I just feel that it's a medium where I can talk freely about what I feel. I mean, irrespective of how people take it. But even I would want to put across things which runs in my mind, which troubles me, because we are also part of the same society. And if there is something wrongdoing, we should stand up. There is no point in just discussing around the round table and then go back home. As celebrities, people call us. I think if that is what I am, I should stand up for the rights, and I should stand up for the issues which I feel that needs to be spoken about. And whether things move forward or not is a secondary, but I will use that platform to voice my opinion and things which troubles me. Yeah.
This is unreal. This is unheard of. Like, honestly, I'm just sounding like, thank God, somebody. Just one final thing, Mithali. What would you want to say to the young women who are in this room, who will be listening and watching this program, to young cricketers, to young women cricketers? What would you want to say to them?
Well, I just want to say that, a lot of people ask me advices for young people, but I believe that
for old people,
in general, I think if everybody has a dream and if people have goals, please do not restrict yourself to caste, creed, or I'm a woman, I cannot probably achieve it. I mean, dreams are dreams. Everybody has a right to dream, and everybody should be given equal opportunities to achieve that, to excel in life, and also that just not success, but people also should appreciate average people, because every day people struggle. It's just not successful people. Every day, every person struggles to live a life. getting up early in the morning is a struggle. I know that. So everybody struggles. So do not think that, okay, celebrities, they're successful and you acknowledge them. Acknowledge your own self, because you also work equally hard. You may not be recognized for your hard work, or your goals may be not something that the TVs or the commercials will portray. But as humans, as individuals, everybody works hard and should be celebrated, irrespective of whether you achieve your goal or not.
Thank you, Mithali. Ladies and gentlemen, like they do in cricket matches, standing ovation for the independent woman Mithali Raj.
Absolutely. Let's have a big round of applause for these two wonderful women. We can do better than that, this hall. Come on. This is really breaking barriers in the world of sports. And by the way, as I said earlier, not just Mithali, but Sharda too. And before I let them go, can we come to the center? Sharda, I need to ask you something. Yes. How tough was it to break into the world of sports coverage when mostly men did it?
I have to say this, that very, very quickly, I'm looking at that clock, that I genuinely didn't have problems with athletes or even officials. Or maybe I was so dumb that I didn't even notice at that point. You know, you had these blinkers on. It was the older journalists that gave you a hard time. And as you know, we are hearing stories about them for the last many hours.
The Me Too moment of media is here, and we're going to hear a lot about it this evening.
So, nothing sort of really outrageously horrible, but just sort of a little bit of that. But it's fine. I'm like a blinkered person. I just kept going.
That's fantastic, Sharda. And Mithali, before we let you go, I know you have a book coming, and you've spoken a little bit about that. What's next for you?
Well, we have the T20 World Cup in November, and it's a standalone tournament, because earlier we were playing in, at the time when the men's cricket were playing the T20 World Cup, so that we could get equal coverage. But this is the first time that ICC has turned down and, hosting a standalone tournament for the women's cricket in 2000.
So people better watch it.
People should watch it and do support Indian team.
Thank you. Thank you. Please.